the other day. There goes my color, finally came back on. As you can see, they could do different things and get a man zone tip. Well, number one, when this guy just kind of moves out a little bit, nobody really adjusts. And then this nickel sloughs back. This guy's already outside the hash. Now, again, if you're high school or college, your hashes are much wider. I get it. In the NFL, I know we use the hash as a big, big indicator of a lot of things, because if you're all the way outside the hash, something ain't right. You're either doubling or you're trying to disguise a zone. So he's outside the hash already. He's starting to slough back. So we know now, okay, is there an edge issue on this side? Probably not. Okay, so that's what we're thinking. Now you got the safety standing here on this edge. That guy is an issue because it's not a man coverage look. So what you want to do now, and I'll let this play out, and you'll see they're going to bring all four of these guys. They're going to drop him, and then he's going to play out here. And you'll see that this is a fire zone. It's like a Palms fire zone here. And a lot of times too, if you're in 2x2, you're going to get some sort of Palms split safety look. If you're in 3x1, normally it's a single high look. Those are some different things that you can start to implement in. So you can, as you game plan it, do we want to make it easier on the quarterback and make everything 2x2? Do we want to make things through? It just depends on what you're seeing during that week. Some teams are more exotic than others. What I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. And then I'm going to debunk the first way I'm going to tell you to do this on the next clip. Okay. So just hang with me when I say this. If you decided to stay in with an inside point on this, and they're cross key in here, so they're actually going to cross key. Okay. So just think of the back as being over here. So this is actually the man side and the way that this one's playing out. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we're just going to go a man call and we're making the mic here. Okay. And then if he drops out, the back's going to check him and then scan. Okay. These two guys are on these two guys. So they're just doing exactly what I said just a minute ago. That's the way it's ID'd on this play. So if you look, it actually works out. Okay. The backs guy drops. Now, one of the things with running backs, please tell your running backs this. If they have their eyes on this guy and he drops and runs this way, run your eyes back to the same direction he's running out, because normally if he's running out this way, somebody's running in from that direction. I mean, that's just basic, math and geometry, I guess, if you want to say. So as you see here, this actually works out. He does this, he comes back over, snuffs it out. Good. Okay, great. Now, the way I'm going to tell you to do this is if you know it's zone and you have a 7-man front, okay, there's your 7-man front. You have your normal 6 like you had in man, and you have the 7th guy. But it's a zone look, because remember, he's outside the hash, that nickel over here sloughing off. You see that it's not a man look. A lot of teams call it Abby. Okay, so it could be Abby. All right. So what I'm saying here, you call it whatever you want to. You can call it old brown shoe, like I was told by one coach one time. Whatever it is, this guy is sliding for the widest. He is sliding for the second widest. He is sliding for the third widest, and the back is coming into this A gap. If this guy blitzes, back blocks him. But if this guy drops, he becomes part of the slide. He has number 4 at this point. He has the 4th widest, and he just joins the slide. He gets hip to hip with this center. So he runs up, he gets hip to hip with this center and just keeps pushing through, and everybody pushes through. Now, what's the hard thing? These are 4 straight. Sometimes you have these loopers, but on this one, it's 4 straight. 57's taught to run through the center. He's taught to run through the guard. He's taught to run through the tackle to try to get him free, is what they're trying to do. So you have to push hard. If you know that's what they're giving you, you got to push hard. So if that were the case, then he would sit here, and then actually the back would end up on 57 in this case. Now, they do have those versions where they do this. Now, your back would end up on number 4, because the guy looping around as he walked in there and became part of the slide would be the 4th guy. In some terms, you could say this, again, we're looking at it from the defense here, but flip it around, look at it the offense. This would be like an Abby left, if you want to say. So you're telling the line which way they're sliding, and then the back fits into the opposite A gap. So the back has opposite A gap to join the slide. If both backers run out in this look and the back comes in here, he can actually get out to wherever his check down is. Now, the problem is, what if his check down was over here? Well, you just tell him to, you don't tell him to come backwards. You tell him to run out. Or if he had like a burst route, like say he was supposed to, I got a lot of lines on there, say he's supposed to do that on his check down, but he came over here and they both dropped out, then just tell him to leave from there. But point being is this: if you do an Abby call, you have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Whoever they end up being. In this case, it ends up being 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll let this play. And again, that's the way I would pick it up. Again, I'm going to debunk this theory now. I want to talk about the man side for 2 seconds, because this causes, everybody's going to say, well, what happens if this guy loops around, your back's on him? Well, if this guy runs up and then does that contain rush and he drops, both of these guys should push back in. These guys should kick back in. So at this point right now, okay, you feel him going out, he dropped, kick back and help. So you actually gain your backside guard in this look versus fire zones, if that makes sense. So always do this. Drop out. In this case, sometimes they say drop out, look out. In this case, there's nothing to look out to. Drop out. Hey, let's kick back in. So now your tackle takes this guy over and you gain an extra guy. So that would actually help, because picture it this way. Picture your back sitting in here, joining the slide, and him kicking back in and helping your back. So again, you're gaining that